Hello everybody, I'm Krasi, and I will be looking at this very important celestial event, which will be Saturn turning direct on the 12th of October. Saturn is who? Saturn is a planet which is not a personal planet. I was thinking that this is the first thing I should tell you. Just remember, he's not directly influencing these very materialistic parts of our lives, like you can say about Venus, Mars, Mercury. Saturn, of course, affects very seriously the collective. He's the Lord of karma, but also not only our personal karma, but the collective karma. And we see this from the moment he entered Sidereal Astronomical Capricorn, which was, I think, end of January 2020. We saw immediately how the world was changing. Actually, if you remember 30 years ago, the whole world was changing too, exactly for the same reason, Saturn entering Sidereal Capricorn. So this happened now again. So he was retrograde. I've been mentioning often that what I noticed and what I read in some astrological sources is that when retrograde, he was not that bad, just that he slowed down. He can slow down justice because he rules this, justice, moral values. He rules time, he rules the agriculture. He's the warrior, according to the Babylonians. He is the warrior. Also, by the way, Saturn shares similar nature with Perseus, the warrior on the sky. Again, according to the ancients, he is of such high hierarchy on the sky. I think I mentioned before, but it's worth repeating. He is the son of Enlil, one of the primal gods who created, have influenced the creation of the human beings. And he has very high number 50 on the sky, which makes him very high level divinity. Now, he turns direct. Okay, we can expect when he turns direct some movements in relation to justice, and not only, because in his lower vibrations, Saturn, of course, can give totalitarian increase of the totalitarian control, because he rules also the government, because he's the god Ninurta. So obviously he rules the power, the governments, the power structures. And in governmental sense, I mean rulership sense, he's the high level of rulership. So yes, we can see speed up of what he now means in Capricorn, which eventually could be this. Why? Because when he turns direct, this is like beginning of a new cycle, so to say. There are so many cycles in the universe and explained by astrology. Not only when he becomes visible, this is the start of a new cycle, but also when he becomes direct, and he will be direct for a long time. So he becomes direct in the 12 degrees of Sidereal Capricorn, where you have section of Capricorn ruled by Mercury. Mercurian term, Hermetic Egyptian Mercurian term. What is Mercury? He is the mind. He is our speech. He is eloquence. He is knowledge. These degrees in general, even though they are ruled by Mercury, due to the stars which are projected on these particular degrees, are considered dangerous, negative. So him turning direct there may mean dangers, eventually dangers to the world, death. I'm telling you what Hermes is saying, and also Ptolemy about these particular degrees. I am not meaning to scare you, but I'm just telling you, he turns direct on degrees which are meaning something not positive in Capricorn. On the other hand, the high vibrations of Capricorn are knowledge, amazing knowledge, high moral values, keeping your word, staying behind your truth, having lofty ideals. This is Capricorn as well. And we have Jupiter there. When they are both together, they're watching for the truth to, and the karma to be fulfilled. So what is happening is we have him now turning direct. Well, we will have speed of course, control, but also we will have the speed of awakening, because of the mind and the soul, because at the moment of his starting of his direct motion, there is this big trine between Mercury, Mars, and the Sun in Virgo, sidereal. Sidereal would say astronomical. When you look at the sky, this is what you see. So what you see also is this trine. This is amazing because he becomes visible in his sign of exaltation. So when he becomes visible, tried by Saturn, this is through another further step of humans awakening. Very practical help to our minds to open to those who are ready, and help to those who are following already this path. So in this sense, this is good. And I will remind you, look at the last year, I think it was again October, when the same thing happened. What happened? We already have clear and not far back historical repetition. Of course, 100 years ago, in 1918, we had the same pandemic scenario with the Spanish flu, but now, now we can see just yesterday, like 1 year ago, in October, when Saturn turned direct, what happened? Furthering of the restrictions. We may expect the same now, but it will go along with the furthering of the awakening. There is a trine, and trine also with Mars, who is unpredictable. And Mars, by the way, in Virgo, totally peregrine, meaning no specific powers and unpredictably invisible, is very practical, very, if you want, strategic. And by the way, when we know that Mars is ruling the police state, the police, we can say, well, yes, weak police, like it can go two ways. One way will be cooperation between the police state, really under the rulership and listening to the state and doing blindly what the state requires against the people. And the second scenario is, and both actually can happen. Why? Because depends on the vibrational levels of people and how they deal with the truth, how they deal with the reality. So the second scenario is practical awakening of the mind, very very organized and very practical and very strategically forming of your mind without any fears, just being very practical, very strategic, and really awakening and following the normal human right of freedom. So these are the two scenarios. They can go in a parallel development completely, but they will both take place. Now, of course, you will see the police state listening and fulfilling blindly and weak, in very weak the requests of the matrix. This is what you will see, and this is what will be happening, but not forever, because the energies will shift very much. After some time, now we have other celestial events which will take place. It is also the eclipse on the 19th of November, which will accelerate this. Then we have the eclipse on the 4th of December. But then we have good things happening as well towards a human awakening to freedom and finding who we really are. And this is that Jupiter is entering sidereal Aquarius. And this is good, but this is happening on the 30th of November. However, remember, we have two choices: either to choose the practical awakening development of our minds without falling in the traps of fears, which can easily be followed, knowing in which degree Saturn turns direct, and this is the degree of fear, destruction. We can opt, because remember, we're creating our own realities. No one, the media is imposing fake reality. You create your own reality. some people say you have pandemic, but if you switch the television, there is no such thing. So create your own reality of practical structuring, discipline in your mind in a very good way so that you align with your higher selves. This is Saturn, because Saturn does not tolerate lie. So yes, he is power, yes, he is rulership, but in benevolent way. When this rule is being well violated, then the karma will also be fulfilled. This cannot last forever. We may have now, because of his appearance in a bad degree in astrology, a bad totalitarian rulership, but not for long, because he then needs also to fulfill the universal laws of moral and moral truth. He does not tolerate violation of truth. So maybe this gives us a hope. So things will change after we go through November, December. This will not be easy months. Only remember last year, they were not easy. Now they will not be easy though, because of some the eclipses, heliacal rise of Mars in Scorpio. I'm just telling you, choose option 2 of maybe option 1 of structuring your mind, being fearless, and wait and see, the good times will come. Just we need to go through some additional awakening celestial events. So let me finish with this here and see you soon.